Cheers, your girl BossChick Raine, and this is Move the Culture Show. The Move the Culture Show is Move the Culture Mondays. So this is my rain rant. I like to just get my bars off sometimes. I was online today, and I happened to see a popular YouTuber do a blog outside that was titled. I can look it up before I give you guys some specifics. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Now I still follow this guy because I believe that I believe in his agenda, not necessarily the way he goes about things. He's also a Bronx guy, and I know he's controversial. And I'm talking about Hassan Campbell. Okay, he wrote Mecca Audio. G checks Hassan Campbell on the black women. So I couldn't get through this because I was so disappointed when they started out talking, and he basically bashed black American men and separated and compared black American men to West Indian men, and saying that the West Indian men take care of women in the home more so than black American men. And I felt like, in my mind, because I was geared or raised a certain way, like I always talk about this because it had an impact on me as a child, and that's why I think the way I do as a woman, as a grown adult, right? I believe in Afrocentricity, or I call it black centricity, where my core way of thinking is black, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that I start from that point first. A lot of black people don't think that way, which I find I'm disappointed in every day. And to me, I'm saying that because I'm trying to get you guys to understand why I feel so strongly the way I do. Because as a teen, I was taught certain things, and my mind was fueled to just believe and be proud, and on my James Brown shit, black and proud. Now I know I'm gonna go a bunch of places, and I'm gonna bring it back to why I had an issue with this blog. Some black people have an issue with even being referred to as black. They think black. They say black is a social construct. It's a color. It's not. But maybe that's the black American mind, and not all black Americans agree, but a lot of us, we relate to being black. We have no problem being called black. But I realize we get separated when it comes to non-American blacks, the way that they see black. They see black as specifically black American. They don't see black as unified as, American blacks, non-American blacks, the mindset of Pan-Africanism. That's kind of like, in general, Pan-Africanism is basically saying we're all black, so we're all unified no matter where we're from, right? Because our connecting force is being African, which is I'm always touch into this topic on Move the Culture Mondays, because there's a thing going on right now within the culture in this era where there's revisionist history with regards to hip-hop. And it's a big thing that's emerging. Like, a lot of people are talking about it. Tariq Nasheed just dropped something on it. People are going back and forth with him about the inception of hip-hop, and really, in a sense, disconnecting or trying to say that black Americans did not create hip-hop. So then it's that, right? So bringing it back to this blog, Hassan Campbell, it's like, if your mindset is starting like mine from, a black center, I don't go out my way to see the differences between me and other black people that were not necessarily from the U.S., right? It's divisive, and basically it's kind of doing the job of white supremacy when we're focusing on the differences and then start arguing and fighting over these differences, as opposed to focusing on our similarities and what connects us, which is that we all are black, or we all are African. We all have some African blood. That's why we look alike as far as complexion, right? So in this blog, he said basically, that black American men don't take care of their families, but West Indian American men do. And I just be wanting to know, like, how specifically. I feel like him being a Black American man saying that. First of all, I don't wholeheartedly believe that, because how can you tell? It reminded me of when I was in college, and one group of girls I hung with in college. A lot of them were from Brooklyn, and they were all West Indian, between Haitian, Jamaican, Trinidadian. So I was running with them, and they used to say mad ignorant shit, right, about Black Americans. I remember one time my homegirl was like, "Oh, there's no such thing as a West Indian crackhead." Like, how the fuck do you know that there's no West Indian crackheads? You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. Like, how are you making these broad stereotypes, or these broad notions about people? How do you know? How can you say that Black American men specifically are deadbeats and not West Indian men, or West Indian American men? How can you say that? How can you? To me, it's just divisive. I didn't get too far in the blog because my mind cannot see past that point. I think it's just divisive. If you want to put the negative stereotype on Black people as a whole, then do that, because you can't really separate like that. You know what I'm saying? And then it kind of fuels this whole argument where, I'm gonna tell y'all this. It wasn't until this stage in life for me, which was the last election. I'm not sure how far are we in with Joe Biden. He's been here year 3. Wow. Yeah. So we're going on year 3. It wasn't until that election, year two. He became president in 21. So the election process was during COVID. So you're right. So 2 years or so. Right. So the whole Kamala Harris being his VP, it kind of like made me start seeing, like, I'm not like heavily into politics. I try to get more into politics, but this is the first time that I felt the need to connect to being Black American. So I just want to like bring my rant together, right? Another part, West Indians calling Black Americans Yankees, right? That was always a thing. And it's like, they still, I made a post about this a year or two ago. Because I'm like, if you're still calling Black Americans Yankees at this stage, and the reason why I brought this up, because I saw a media person giving an interview, I forgot of who, and she kept calling him a Yankee. And I'm like, how are you calling him a Yankee? Like, that is disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, it's ignorant, because what y'all don't realize, you're helping to fuel or helping to aid in white supremacy, because Black American people, we never really, I can't speak for all of us, but I know a lot of us, we never connected to being, as a young kid, I never connected to America. I connected to being Black. We didn't connect to America. And that's the problem. When you're doing that, it's like, that's why we find it offensive, because it's like, what are you how you calling us Yankees? Even though Black Americans fought in the Civil War, which is where the term comes from. It comes from the fighters, the Yankees, right? We were used in that shit. But you calling us basically a term that's given to a white American soldier. You're calling Black people that, like, because we're from here. It's fucking ignorant as fuck, and it's divisive, yo. And I like to play. I like to take accountability, and I like to see both sides. We both have ignorances, like we're all ignorant to that. Now, I'm not saying that me particularly, I'm just saying that Black Americans also have ignorant shit too. Growing up, you calling people African booty scratchers. What the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's divisive. It's, it was something to say, but as I got older and realized, even as a teen, it's ignorant, yo. We have to focus more so on our similarities. There are a lot more similarities that we have than differences. And the inherent similarity is that we are all African. Like, the connecting factor is the complexion. You know what I'm saying? You may not call it Black. A lot of us, we refer to it as Black. But my point is, me connecting to being Black American this late in life, is about I can't allow people to reduce the contribution of Black American people, because we were all dropped off in different places. But guess what? Hip hop was fueled here. A lot of things were fueled here off the backs of Black American people. So you cannot reduce the contributions of the people, of the Africans that were dropped off here and made something of it. For some reason, we always get the back end of the stereotypes. We're lazy, you know, all these different negative stereotypes. And I just feel like this is it's a revelation for me. This is my rant. It made me, for the first time, feel like I have to connect to being American. And I never felt that before. Growing up, I did not feel like me and my peers and even my family. I see it more so now with elders, but I didn't see it then that we were anti. We were like, what? We're Black. Somebody will always ask me where I'm from or think I'm something else. I'm like, I'm Black. I never was like, I'm Black American. Not even African American. Like, I didn't connect to it. It was given to me. That was a title. We went from Negro to all these different things, but I'm speaking for a certain demo of people. We never connected to being American. So I'm just trying to basically say that you're fueling division. We have to focus on what connects us, which is, in my head, being Black, but inherently African. And that transitions over to hip hop. This topic of hip hop and people stating claim to creating it, on this show over the next couple of weeks, you know, before the end of the year, we're going to get some of these OGs in here, like a lot of people who were there to talk about it, because my mind and the way I was raised, I know I cannot allow people just to kind of reduce the contribution, simply because in my mind too, I feel like it's because it's the number one genre, because I never heard these claims stated before. Have you guys heard these claims stated before? Have you heard West Indians claiming a stake in hip hop, like claiming that they created, even though we know Kool Herc was West Indian? We knew that. I knew that as a kid, right? But I never even in knowing that, it was no division. It was like Black people created that. You feel me? It wasn't like West Indian people created it and not, you know what I'm saying? Like now, even with Busta Rhymes kind of fueled this conversation when he was on Drink Champs a couple of years ago, and specifically stating that West Indians created hip hop. It's like, no disrespect. Yes, there are a lot of West Indians in hip hop. The first rapper is Black American though, right? The first rapper is I got my OG in here, Tariq. The first rapper is Coke La Rock, right? Both Black Americans. So again, I'm ranting, but I'm bringing it full circle. There's 5 elements of hip hop. We can't lose what hip hop is. It's 5 elements, people, right? So there's, of course, rapping, the MCing, b-boy, the dancing. That's the dancing part. Graffiti, DJing, right? The break beats, and then 5th is what? I always forget the 5th. Now I said MCing. Well, no, it's two are similar, which I would put Kool Herc in that. So 4. It's 5 though. Break dancing. No. Beatboxing. Boom. That's it. So right, beatboxing would be it. Even though beatboxing is a lost art form, I would just attribute that or connect it to the beats, period, right? So I'm going to say, you know, Kool Herc would be the DJing, and because, you know, he was playing the break beats. Even with that history, we're going to show the history. I don't like to just make shit up. And I'm open to anyone being on the show to, like, get to the bottom of it so we can preserve the tradition and the history. Because as we get older, this shit will get lost in the sauce. It's starting already. You cannot allow people just to say whatever the fuck they want to say because it's a social media era, and I can just say that, you know, we created it when you didn't. You know what I'm saying? It's extremely important. I'm bringing up the elements because those things are still very important to the hip hop culture. So with that said, you can't talk about hip hop without all right, if he gets the credit or the title of Godfather, right, it would attribute to one or two elements. What about the rapping element? You guys are out here just saying anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, you out here saying that I don't even want to be this divisive, because I wasn't taught that. I was always taught blacks and Latinos. But as I've been doing research ever since this topic surfaced in the past couple of weeks, because of the Math Hoffa's My Expert Opinion podcast, a clip went viral where they basically was saying that West Indians created hip hop, and West Indians. No, this dude actually said when you hear hip hop, you're hearing West Indian music, and that was crazy to me. And I'm just like, what? When you hear hip hop, you're hearing West Indian music. You're hearing an infusion. You know, Caribbean culture definitely influenced, but hip hop is a direct descendant of what? The blues, gospel, funk. It's like a direct descendant. You can't. Hip hop pulled from everything, and I would have preferred or respected them if they said that when you're hearing it, you're hearing African music, because essentially the gospel, funk, blues are also descendants of what? African Congos. Like, you're attributing the drum beats to the islands, but the drum beats are attributed to what? To Africa. It was from there first. Like, let's go there. Let's make the connecting point be that we're all basically African. That's my rant, man. Rain Rant. Move the Culture Mondays. This rant was sponsored by the Bronx Collective Creative Space, where you can come and get your content creation on. You can also come and record your music, or you up and coming aspiring artists. We also would like to have you on the show, but you can come here and and get your studio time on. Follow the Bronx Collective NYC on Instagram. Okay, this rant was also sponsored by Fame Academy, fashion, arts, music, and entertainment. Follow Fame Academy NY on IG. Rain Rant, and I'm out.